"Please, grant me one final wish," whispered the priest. The nun froze in place. She had given her entire life to faith, to silence, to obedience. Yet never in her wildest thoughts did she expect a priest's last request to sound like this. And what he revealed next would leave not only her, but everyone who later heard the story in complete disbelief. Stay with me until the very end, because what unfolds here will leave you without words. And before we dive in, take a moment to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments where in the world you're tuning in from. Now let's begin. Sister Catherine had walked the halls of St. Mary's Cathedral for 15 years. At dawn and again at dusk, her steady footsteps echoed against the cold stone walls. She was 28 years old, known for her quiet strength and unwavering devotion. Her chestnut hair was always tucked neatly beneath her habit, and her green eyes carried a warmth that could calm even the most restless hearts. The other sisters admired her deeply. She never asked for exceptions, never complained, never challenged the rules of their order. When younger nuns wrestled with doubt, they turned to Catherine. When elderly sisters needed support, she was at their side before they even asked. She lived each day with purpose, finding peace in prayer and fulfillment in small acts of kindness. But on one autumn morning, everything shifted. Father Michael had been a part of St. Mary's for more than 3 decades. At 62, with silver hair and deep blue eyes, he carried himself with a mix of wisdom and quiet sorrow. His congregation adored him. His sermons were thoughtful, his guidance compassionate, and his presence a source of comfort for those enduring hardship. Over the years, he had baptized children, joined couples in marriage, and stood with grieving families through their darkest hours. Yet behind the calm strength he offered others, Father Michael bore a secret of his own, a secret that had been crushing his spirit for months. 3 months earlier, he had sat in a doctor's office and heard words that changed everything. Advanced stage cancer, no more than half a year left. The illness had come silently, without warning and without pity. At first, Father Michael told no one. He carried on with his duties, leading prayers, saying Mass, visiting the sick. But slowly, his body began to fail him. His hands trembled as he lifted the chalice. His once powerful voice grew weaker with each sermon. His face hollowed, shadows forming beneath his eyes. And it was Sister Catherine who noticed first. She saw him gripping the altar rail just to steady himself. She caught him pausing in the corridors, pressing his palm against the wall as pain overtook him. She noticed how his meals remained barely touched, and how he spent long, silent hours in his study, staring out at nothing with an expression she couldn't name. One evening, as rain pattered softly against the cathedral's windows, Catherine knocked on the door of his study. "Come in," came his quiet reply. She stepped inside. Father Michael sat behind his desk, surrounded by open books and scattered papers. A single lamp lit his face, revealing the exhaustion etched deep into his features. Still, he greeted her with a faint smile. "Sister Catherine, what brings you here so late?" She closed the door gently and walked toward him. Her voice was calm but firm. "Father, forgive me for speaking so openly, but I'm worried about you. You haven't seemed yourself." He set down his pen, leaned back and studied her face. For a moment he said nothing, but in her eyes he found only sincerity, not judgment, not curiosity, only compassion. "Sit down, please," he said at last, motioning to the chair across from him. She folded her hands in her lap and waited. "What I'm about to share must stay between us, at least for now." His voice was low, heavy. She nodded without hesitation. "I'm dying, Catherine," he confessed. "Cancer. The doctors say I have maybe 3 months left, perhaps less." The words struck her like ice. Her chest tightened, Her breath caught, but she didn't falter. Her years of discipline held her steady, yet deep inside her heart ached in a way she had never known before. "Oh, Father," she whispered, her voice soft and trembling. "I'm so sorry. I've accepted it." He nodded slowly, though a quiver ran through his voice. "We all must face our mortality, Catherine. That is certain. But there's something else. Something I've never shared with anyone in all my years of service." Sister Catherine leaned in, sensing the gravity of what was about to be revealed. "I wasn't always a priest, Catherine. Before I took my vows, I lived a very different life. I was engaged to be married." Her eyes widened slightly, but she remained silent, waiting. "Her name was Elena," he continued, his tone tinged with nostalgia. "We were young, full of dreams. We planned a future together, spoke about the children we would have, the home we would build." His voice softened, drifting into the past. "But then I felt the calling to serve God. It came suddenly, overwhelmingly, in a way I couldn't ignore or deny." Father Michael rose slowly and walked to the window, gazing at the rain-soaked courtyard below. "I broke off our engagement. Elena, she was devastated, heartbroken. She begged me to reconsider, told me we could serve God together in our own way. But I was certain that my path lay in the priesthood, in celibacy, in total devotion to the church." Sister Catherine watched him carefully, noticing the quiet anguish etched into his profile. "Elena married someone else 2 years later, a good man who loved her deeply. They had 3 children, built a beautiful life together. She passed away 5 years ago. Cancer. Just like the one that is taking me now." The room fell into silence, save for the soft, steady rhythm of rain against the windows. "Father, why are you telling me this?" Catherine asked gently. He turned to her, and she saw tears glimmering in his eyes. "Because for 30 years, I've wondered if I made the right choice. I have served God faithfully, guided countless souls, found meaning in my vocation. Yet late at night, when the cathedral is silent, my thoughts drift to Eleanor. I think about the life we might have shared, the children we could have raised together." Sister Catherine's chest tightened with empathy, her heart aching for a man who had devoted everything to his faith, only to be haunted by the life he left behind. "I've been praying for guidance," Father Michael continued, his voice breaking slightly, "asking God to show me how to find peace before my time comes. And recently, I believe he has given me an answer." He returned to his desk, opening a drawer, and drew out an old photograph. Handing it to Catherine, he said softly, "This is Elena and me, the summer before I entered the seminary." Sister Catherine studied the photo, seeing a young man and woman smiling with hope and joy. The woman's long, dark hair and warm brown eyes radiated life, while the young Father Michael looked unburdened, free of the years and regrets he now carried. "There's something I need to do before I die," he said, his voice gaining strength and resolve. "Something that goes against everything I was taught, everything I've believed about my vows and my calling." Catherine looked up, meeting his gaze, which held an intensity she had never seen. "I need your help, Catherine. What I'm about to ask will challenge every conviction you hold about our sacred duties. It will test your faith in ways you cannot yet imagine." Her heart raced, though she couldn't fully understand why. "I'm listening, Father," she said, her voice steady despite the tension in the air. Father Michael drew in a long, deep breath, as if summoning all the courage he had left. "Before I die, I want to feel what I gave up all those years ago. I want to know even once what it feels like to love someone completely, not just spiritually, but in every way God intended between a man and a woman. Sister Catherine's hands trembled slightly, yet she kept her gaze fixed on him, feeling the weight and honesty of his words. "I'm not asking you to break your vows lightly," he said softly. "I'm asking for your help, to understand what I gave up for my faith, to find peace with the choices I made all those years ago." The weight of his words settled over her like a heavy cloak. Every teaching, every rule she had lived by, every prayer whispered in quiet corners, now seemed to tremble in this moment. "Father, what exactly are you asking me to do?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Father Michael moved to the bookshelf and pulled out a leather-bound journal. His fingers lingered on its worn cover as he returned to his desk. "Catherine, since my diagnosis, I've been writing in this journal every day. Thoughts, prayers, memories, regrets, but mostly letters." He opened the journal carefully, revealing pages filled with neat, precise handwriting. Letters addressed to Eleanor. Letters he would never send because she was gone. Letters recounting his days, the people he helped, the loneliness that often consumed him during the quiet hours of the cathedral. Sister Catherine watched him turn the pages, seeing decades of unspoken words laid bare. "In my final letter to her," he continued, "I wrote something that changed everything for me. I wrote that I wished I could have given her one night, just one night, where we could have been together as husband and wife, where I could have shown her the depth of my love before I chose my path of service." He closed the journal and fixed his eyes on her. "Catherine, I'm asking you to be Eleanor for me, just once, for one night. I want to feel the love I gave up, the intimacy I sacrificed, the connection between AM